Fleetwood's got Luton Town. Goodbye to them. Well, they're not doing too bad, the Cods, are they? They're not doing too bad. So how are we all feeling at the moment? I mean, I'm just, as I say, I keep trying out this new system, so I have to keep trying it, because it doesn't work as easy as, say, going onto StreamYard, but once you get it going, it does eventually work. Teething problems, I'm sure. What are they saying, actually? Let's have a look what they're saying on a view from the tower. What the thoughts are on there at the moment, because obviously the news has gone through on there. Gary Crenshaw. You're good today, Gary. That's good to hear. Thank you very much for letting me know. Bill 40 saying, I hope we've got imaginative with pricing, say £10 for season ticket holders and £15 for everyone else. I reckon that will make for a 9,000 to 10,000 crowd overall. It's getting very near Christmas and money is tight, so must be worth a try. Dream on, Bill. That's not gonna happen, is it? WG fan says, have we got Cardiff this weekend? Do you think we can beat them? Of course we can beat them. If everything goes right, the stars are aligned and everything's... Yes, we can beat them, but it's going to be a tough game. Cardiff playing very well. Apparently they smashed Wrexham. I was reading on A View from the Town, they smashed Wrexham and looked really good. But, Wrexham are a championship team and they took it to them, so it's not going to be easy. Cardiff are never easy. 1953 plus 1 says, I can't see us giving them more than the usual 2,500 a ticket. So people are reckoning that Carlisle could potentially bring more than 2,500, which would be pretty good, really. It just depends on whether our lot can be asked turning up in any numbers instead of moaning about not being able to watch it on their dodgy sticks. That says 1953 plus 1. Kieran Bain says, am I more confident with the new manager? Yes, I am indeed. I am. He's saying all the sort of things that we want to hear from a manager, that he's going to get them, he's going to increase the training. He's going to get them fitter. He's all going to be about, fitness. He's also going to make sure that all the team know exactly where they're supposed to be. He's marked the pitches out into zones, so he's got them training in certain zones so they know where to be and what to do. He does seem to be, he does seem to be able to affect the game in-game, which he did in the FA Cup. It looked a lot better when he made his late changes, which kind of, saw the game out quite easily. So, yeah, I think he's a decent manager at this level. He's 4.5 years at Bolton. It's a long time to be in a job, to be honest. And he was 9th when they sacked him, and he just basically because he lost in the playoffs, probably, but he was always up and about around the playoffs obviously in League One. He got them up from League Two, Bolton up from League Two into League One, and he got Barrow into the league. So, he's a legend here as well, and we like him. Oh, that's because Wrexham was using a weak team, right? Okay, that. I didn't know that, so maybe that's good news. 20 to go on the evening. Tower is saying, I think it's important that we try and get a few wins on the board beforehand so we can go into the game with confidence and playing better. And maybe a few players will be back as well. That would be good, wouldn't it? TSC Signer says there'll be more of us than them, even if another post at 1 a.m. saying we sold 500 tickets. If the unbeaten run continues, could be a reasonable 6,000 gate with 2,000 from Cumbria. I'd be hoping for more than that, if I'm being honest. Duncan Wood said the Posh knocked Cardiff out of the Cup, so gives us a boost for Saturday. Maybe they're a bit down about that. Maybe they feel they're a weakened team. I don't know. JJ Poole says, yeah, not a bad draw. Home tie, chance to go through. We're improving and getting bodies back by then. I tend to agree with JJ Poole there. Trafford Tang says, is there a restriction on the number of tickets that can be allocated to away clubs? I read 15%, but not sure if it still applies. No, I don't know that either. Does anybody know? Does anybody know the answer to that question? Are we allowed to give more than 15% of our tickets away to the opposing team? Anything else? Cuthbert said he got his wish, but he may not now be using the train. Maybe that's a bit worrying, isn't it, about the train at the moment? Doesn't sound great, that's at all. Yeah, so I think I'm much in agreement with everybody else. It's a good draw, isn't it? It's a good draw. It's a winnable game. It doesn't mean we will win it. It's the cup. They'll be up for it. Carlisle won't be coming to roll over. It's a month away. I think it's 4 weeks away, is it? I think it's 4 weeks away. So, there is time, hopefully, if we don't get any more injuries. But, we are Blackpool. We get injured in every game, so you never know. Yes, it can. It really can. A good cup run can help, and I like the FA Cup. I'd love a good run in the cup, and I'd love to go fifth round if possible. We normally go out pretty early. Fourth round we sometimes get through to, but most of the time we go out. So it would be good to get it would be good, yeah, boost team morale, yeah, in the cup. It does, and of course it gives I suppose it gives a chance to maybe play a few fringe players, have some kids on the bench. We'd like to see. I was talking about it. I was mentioning it. I was chatting to somebody in who posted on my last video, and I was basically saying, he was a bit upset that they didn't put the young kid on that's scoring for fun in the under in the under 21s, and it is there's something special about these clubs that bring through youngsters who then go on to be like England stars and all the rest of it that the Premier League clubs do. And you have to have you have to be brave at times, I suppose, as a manager, to blood young kids into the team. But for us from Blackpool, we're putting a lot of effort now into the academy. I know we're not a top academy, and I think that's one thing that holds us back. And still will hold us back, because we haven't got this this new training ground, which may have got us a higher level of academy. So then you can attract better boys and you play better teams. But if we could just bring a couple through, it could really help the team. And there is a few knocking on the door, isn't there? And it would be great to see like a youngster come through and really make it, and just not be loaned out. I mean, Rob Apter did well, didn't he? We sent him out for a year on loan, and he came back, a much better player of the year for Tranmere at the time. That was good. But I'd have liked to have seen him come into the team and made it, in the team in front of us. It would be good. They're talking about Kouassi now. He's starting to have a real stormer away on loan, and we can't recall him, unfortunately, because he's been loaned to an EFL team. But he's one that may come back a much better player next year, and he's got potential. So it's a good competition, and if any of them do manage to get on the pitch and and do play well, who knows? We could do with some sort of like cheap, well, they're not cheap. I mean, they've been trained by the academy, so it all costs money, but to just develop your own talent would be great. Finlay McCallums, 1897, says there should be a noticeable improvement in players' fitness by mid-November, which should improve performance. By early December, we should have many players back and should steamroll at Carlisle. Emphasis on the word should, of course. Andy Nichols says, hi Lee, I support Blackpool. Can Blackpool get in the playoffs? From Andy. I would be amazed if they did get in the playoffs this year. I would love it if they did. We'd have to go on a good run. We've done that before. We were with Simon Grayson, when we were struggling down near the bottom, and at Carlisle, strangely enough, Jane saw the shoots of a big turnaround. They brought a lot of players in January, and Blackpool went on an incredible run, finishing off with the perfect 10 by getting promotion. So, and we were down near the bottom at Christmas. So anything's possible. Doesn't mean it will happen. Doesn't mean history will repeat. But I'm pretty sure if if Everett does the things that he's saying he's going to do, and it looks like he is, I watched the Josh Bowler interview. I don't know if you've watched that on Tangerine TV. If you have Tangerine TV, it's on there. If you haven't got Tangerine TV and you're a Blackpool fan, why have you not got Tangerine TV? Because it's £1.99. It's worth every penny. But Bowler was saying that, he's already starting to feel his fitness coming back with the routine that Everett's, the training routines that Everett's doing. He wants him to play in a different role, which he actually quite likes, but he's telling him how to, where to be and what to do, and he's quite liking the way that Everett's coaching him. So if Everett's as meticulous as he talks about, and he's there all the time on the training ground, and he wants to get them fit and and play in a way that's attacking, free-flowing football that he's talking about, then yeah, sure, we're going to be better. Connor says, hello, loving all the lives, Lee. Yes, well, I'm faffing around with this OBS, so I need to get it right. So, I need to keep doing things like I've just got like this, say, for instance, this overlay here where I can change it all a little bit. Looks a little bit different. Now you can see that you can follow me on X if you want on there. Look, it says at Lee Charles TV is what I am on X. It's all good in the hood. Blackpool are indeed, Kieran, the playoff kings. You're quite right. Connor 96 agrees as well. He says there's nobody better than sneaking in the playoffs than us. I can't agree more. Blackpool do sneak into the playoffs, and if we were to actually manage to go from where we are now to sneaking into the playoffs, then flipping out, you know what I mean? We could, that's the time when we probably would win the playoffs, because it would be a miracle for us to get in. I mean, I remember, Nottingham Forest, when they got in the Premier League, they were bottom of the league at this time, and they changed the manager, and he took them all the way, from the bottom into the Premier League. So it can happen. It can happen. Yes, it is £1.99, isn't it? I mean, it's not even really worth thinking about. It's so good, Tangerine TV. Anything could be better, but the show they have, the interviews they have down at the training ground now, they put a lot of effort into it, and I like to watch all of it. To be honest, I wish I could show you, but obviously I can't. I can only show you things that are on Twitter. But the Josh Bowler interview was great. Really good. You just get that little insight, and from what the players are saying, it seems they had no idea what they were doing under Bruce. They just weren't getting coached, and Everett talks about the week before a game at the training ground is all about preparing for the game on Saturday, so the players know a strategy on how it's possible to beat the team they're playing, and all that sort of stuff. It's got to help. I mean, if you're not doing that, the players don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the team they're playing. They just, they're like robots, aren't they? They just do as they're kind of told. But if the coaching's there and there's a reason for it, and it's improving them, then they're all buying into it. So, or they're all saying they're buying into it. So that sounds great to me. Andy says, hi Lee, I've enjoyed watching your channel. Is that you're off to somewhere else now? Not, or does it mean you're going to carry on and enjoying what I do? Keep up the good work. Cheers, Andy. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it. In fact, talking about that, I've been, I watched today Peter McKinnon. You've probably never heard of him, but he's like a videographer. I've watched him since I started watching YouTube. His videos are all about tips for video guys, and he makes these amazing videos. And his latest video is the fact that he's celebrating 6 million subscribers, which is massive, isn't it? He's just hit 6 million subscribers when they were flying over to Germany to do some filming with Apple Open Gate and stuff. It was all about that. Anyway, at the end of the video, he was talking about how he's got to 6 million, and one of the things he says in the video is that he couldn't have got to 6 million without all the help of all the other people that come on his videos all the time. So he's made friendships with people on YouTube, people like a guy called Matty Hoopier, who's over 1 million now, and there's a few other ones as well that, you know, they go on trips together, they go visiting places together, and they just have a load of fun. And he actually says that, you know, I couldn't have done it without, you know, this group around me. It's very hard to do it on your own. And I just thought, yeah, it is very hard to do it on your own. And I would like, and I'm putting this out there, if anybody watches this or anybody knows anybody, I want to do fan interviews. I want to do them before the game and I want to do them after the game. And I would like to do them with other YouTube, you know, either Blackpool content creators. You can join me, any of you can come and join me, and then we can sort of have a group, and you can interview people and I can interview people. That will all help your channel, and, you know, I will help you to improve your channel, give you any tips or whatever, but I want it to be a bit more fun, you know, with a bit of banter. Maybe not even, you know, YouTubers. Maybe you're an aspiring sort of, you know, you're a aspiring videographer, you know, maybe you want to have a job in media. You don't have to be young. You know, it can even be, you know, some, you know, same age as me, younger than me. I don't know, you know, dads, whatever. I'm not bothered, but just obviously, you know, I do the thing with Pickle in the ground, but like my intro's always me. It's always me walking to the ground. I can film bits of B-roll, my feet walking on the floor or some road sign or something, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. And I've said it before, I want to get your opinions. So I want to get your opinions about how things are going on, you know, how you think the game's going to go on before the game starts. And I want to get opinions from fans as they come out from the game. So like reaction to whatever you've seen. So, you know, from the heart, straight away, whatever's in your head, you know, come and talk to me. I know not everybody wants to be on camera. I get that. But if there's a few of us, then we can do it together. I bought myself like a microphone thing that my little Rode mini mic can go in, and I can use it as a microphone. I can interview people, and I want to use it, and I want to get that. I just think it's interesting, and I think it's more interesting than me just, you know, rambling on about. I mean, we all know that when I watch football, you know, I just watch us. You know, I watch Blackpool. You know, we're either attacking or we're defending, or we're defending well or we're attacking well, and that's all I really see. I never really know what formation we're playing. I don't really see all that sort of stuff. I don't notice things like, you know, Mitch Cook's left foot blog. He seems to notice all sorts of things. I sometimes think I wish I could read his blog before I actually make my video, and then I could talk about things a bit better than I do in the video. But anyway, that's what I'm looking for. So if anybody's interested in that, you know my email, it's lee@leecharles.tv. Just email me and we can arrange a meet up, and, you know, we can do sort of a collaboration and everybody sort of help each other, and maybe I'll have a bit more fun before it, having a bit of banter with people rather than, you know, just doing it on my own all the time. It does get a bit difficult mentally on your own all the time. So yeah. Michael Haig, hello. Michael Haig says, evenly. That was a long wait. He must have been busy. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I just honestly, it was Steve, and I had to go out and do some bloody stuff with him, and then, you know, the day went on, and then I got back, and there was a problem with the Bulkers video, and no, it's just been a busy day. I'll ring you tomorrow, or whatever. Andy Nicholson says, hi Lee, my favourite Blackpool player is Ian Evatt of all time. That's well, you'll be doubly pleased, and he's the manager as well. I like Evo. As I said, he came to see my dad in the hospice with Tom, you know, with Steve Thompson, and he's always been a favourite of mine for that very reason. Dad liked him. I did say, you know, the first time he came on the pitch as a player, as a centre half for Blackpool. We were sitting in the north then, and he just saw him warming up, and he said, Jesus, look at the size of this centre half. He was like bigger than anyone we'd ever had before. He did a lot of the business, and he was the business. Connor says it's interesting to hear the honeymoon interview with Amos Wynn. He sounded very disappointed where we were, and he hasn't had a good time in Blackpool so far. No, and he was so full of joy, wasn't he? He was all happy to be, his mum loved Steve Bruce and all this, and he was really happy, and I'm sure he hasn't had a good time. None of us have been having a good time in Blackpool. He's not the only one, so hopefully Everett will start to improve that, and he will have a little bit more joy. Connor says, I really like the review show you do with Pickle. It's very impressive work. When's the next one? Do you know? Well, I went, strangely enough, I went to a new bar that's opened up in Cleveland. It's called The Greedy Banker. It's opened up right on the traffic lights on that corner. There was a bank there. It's open there, and I went to the guy that's opened it. It's a big Blackpool fan. He's actually a friend of Michael's who you saw in there. In fact, Michael got me in touch with him, and as I said, we're trying to go to different locations and promote businesses in Blackpool. Just do it, do it in a nice bar or whatever, or a nice hotel or wherever, and do the show in there and just promote things in Blackpool, especially Blackpool fans. So he's a Blackpool fan. So I went down to see him. I filmed a little bit of, I filmed some shots for them, but we're going to go and do a show in there. So the next one will be coming from the Greedy Banker. I'm just waiting to find out when Pickle's next free to come on, so and do it with me. So yeah, there will be, and there's not been a lot of joy to talk about. We've got a little bit more joy now, so it would have been a pretty miserable show. We were going to do it a couple of weeks ago, but it was awful. So I said to Pickle, I hate moaning on camera all the time to you guys. I hate being miserable. There's certain shows that I don't watch because it's miserable all the time. I don't like it. I don't like misery. I like to be joyful. And that's it. If you want to come and do interviews, with me and join me in, before and after the match, as a vlogger or as a videographer or whatever, or young content creator or whatever, you're on TikTok. I don't care what it is, but you've got to bring joy to me. We've got to have a laugh. We've got to have fun. We can't be miserable, because I just hate being miserable about Blackpool. Hate it. Darlickshire says, I hope the club charge decent prices for this Carlisle game and not the same as a league match. Well, they charge £15 for adults. £15. I thought that was really reasonable. I took Alex, my eldest, went together, and I thought it was a really reasonable price. And not many turned up. So, will they do it again? I don't know. It didn't prove to be that successful in the last game, and you think at £15 it was worth a bite, for most people who Blackpool fans. And I can't understand why I can't understand why anybody doesn't want to go to an FA Cup match. I love FA Cup matches. Zach Taylor says, I haven't been on for a while. I live overseas. Have you and Jane parted ways? No, we've not. Jane has just kind of... No, we're not. We're together. We were at one stage. It did look like that. But anyway, we're still together. But Jane has kind of parted ways with Blackpool FC at the moment. It just gets her down. And she has got where she works, it's been full of stress and everything else, and it's just work's been getting her down. She had a week off work at one time because they've had this major takeover by another company, and there's so many problems that are just hard to sort out, and she was having a rough time with that. And then obviously going to Blackpool was to watch Blackpool's a torture for her. She doesn't actually like going to watch matches with me, if I'm being honest, because I stress her out too much. She can't watch it with me. She can't take it. She can't take all my stress, because I do get really stressed out with it, and so she prefers she's just having some time off from Blackpool. We had a meeting with the club a few years ago, where with Brett Garrity and with Ben Mansford, and wasn't great, if I'm being honest. I'd said some things that were not quite correct about the pricing of the game, really. Was the main thing. And I did say in my video that the training ground wasn't happening, and they really took umbrage with me on that. And yeah, I was right. Do you know what I mean? It's not happening, is it? It's still not happening. But they have done work down at Squires Gate, so that's fine. But yeah, I got lambasted for saying that the training ground wasn't happening. And then there was all this issue with the fact that, so basically because I said those things wrong, they were prepared to let me carry on filming match footage as long as anything controversial I wanted to say, I had to ring the club and double check to make sure that my facts were right. And I just thought, you know what? I don't want to work under those. I don't want to do this. I don't work for Blackpool Football Club, you know what I mean? I'm not an employee. I don't want to be ringing them up to check if I've got my facts right. If I get my facts wrong, it's a good thing to be corrected and then come back and, you know, whatever it is, you know what I mean? If I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected and say I am. And, you know, it's all good. It's all good in the order, really, all of that sort of stuff. And I just said to them, look, I don't want to be in that position where, you know, you're holding this thing over me that I've got to blooming check with you if my facts are right. So I tell you what, I don't really want to put the match footage in, to be honest, because it's a ball ache. Do you know what I mean? And it is a ball ache because when you're doing the match footage, you can't miss anything, you know, so you can't miss a goal, can you? Because your match footage, it's got to have the goals in. So basically, you've got to film all the time and delete and film and delete and film and delete and film and delete and just trying to get, you know, to make the video look exciting, just get the highlights. But you have to film it all, and in the winter it's freezing, your hands are like blocks of ice, and I can't really watch the game. So I said to Jane that I quite liked it when we were just doing the watch-alongs, you know, when we just did the watch-alongs in lockdown. It was great, you know what I mean? We just had this banter between us, you know, during the game, and we chatted with you guys, and it was really good. And I said, well, why don't I just do it as if I'm doing a watch-along? I'll just talk about what I see, and, you know, if you get that reaction of all the crowd going up and me going mental, then I actually prefer that half the time than actually just seeing the goal. Because you can see you can see the goal, but you can't see the reaction of all the fans and stuff. So I thought it'd be better that way. So I'm not particularly bothered about not putting the match footage in, but I kind of think now, as time's gone on, that it's just a bit, especially when especially when they're not playing well. I mean, who wants to watch a video of me watching Blackpool playing bad? so it's not a good thing. But if I can get these interviews going, which is what I want to do, I'd rather just do like chatting with the fans before, chatting with the fans after, and that would be maybe just a few things inside the ground with me and Pickle, but not to the extent that I do now, just to get the atmosphere in the ground, you know, like I normally do. But I really want to go in that direction with it. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, we are together. We're just not doing match day vlogs together anymore. In fact, she's actually gone and sat. She's been a couple of times on a friend's ticket, nowhere near me, because I just do her head in, to be honest. And I understand. I am stressful to watch the football with. I go into the Armfield Club. The atmosphere in there is always great, but I can't seem to get anybody to talk to me in there. It's always very loud in there, you know, so I've got to basically mic people up. But I suppose with my microphone thing, I could maybe go in with my microphone and stuff, but it's just getting people to talk to you. It's not always easy. But yeah, if people want to meet me in the Armfield, post in the comments now, or post in the comments if you're watching this video after and you want me to go in the Armfield and you'd like to talk to me, let me know. I will go in before and after the game. I've been in after the game quite a few times, and there's hardly anybody in because we've like lost or played rubbish. So you know what I mean? The Armfield Club is it's absolutely bouncing when Blackpool are bouncing, and it really does rely on a Saturday on Blackpool playing well. So if Blackpool have won, you know, everybody goes for a drink after, and you know, I used to do the after party after the games, and we're in the Championship, and it was really busy. But you know, you're going after a game and there's like 10 people in because everybody's gone home, and everybody's depressed about it all. So if Blackpool can get going on a roll, it'll be better. Duncan Wood says, all the talk is great, but they need to do it on the pitch. Bowler has been crap so far, and a lot of others have hoped they turn it around. I don't really buy into that, Duncan, if I'm being honest. I think, one, we've won 2 games since he took over. We've got like injuries as long as your arm. There's so many players out. I mean, just imagine if Everett had come in and blooming Ennis had just was playing himself fit and he was back playing. I mean, just think how much better we'd be playing now with Ennis in. All the energy he puts into to the front, running around in their half, it will make a massive difference. Honeyman coming back's a huge difference now. Should make a difference. So I think they will start playing better, and I think Bowler's getting better. He's certainly getting fitter, and he had a lot of plaudits on the radio on Saturday. So and you've got to remember that Bowler's been out of he hasn't played like a football match, really for any team. He's been on loan. He's never got in or anything. He's not really match fit, is he? He's not had much game time. So give him time. I mean, you can't judge anything yet. Judge it, after 10 or 15 games and see how we're going. But Everett's got to do a lot of work to turn this around because we were bloody awful. So yeah. Of course, they've got to do it on the pitch, but these things take time, and the fact that people were shouting abuse and stuff about it all on Saturday was just they're not Blackpool fans for me. Blackpool fans are loud and proud and behind the team and make a lot of noise and cheer them on, and that's what it is. If we get our mojo back as Blackpool fans, then the team will improve. I know it's a two-way street. They have to, get us on side and play good football for us to. But that's not always the case. Blackpool fans used to just be tribal and noisy, and we're not. We're not. And if we're not helping. And if we're moaning and groaning and grumbling at the side, then that's just like every other club in the country. And I don't think Blackpool, can be like that. I don't think we can be like every other club in the country, moaning and groaning. I think we've got to be what Blackpool fans are. We've got to make more noise out of 10,000 people than 30,000 people can make, and make it a hostile, passionate environment like it used to be. And where did it take us? It took us miles, you know what I mean? It did. It's down to us as much as them. Kieran Bain says Blackpool are made in the Championship or maybe even Premier. It's sad when you are where you are, but hope this is the turning point for Blackpool. Yeah, I totally agree. This is not where we should be. Carlisle says, great, looking forward to that. That will be with regards to the, with the show. Connor says £15 is a great price for an adult. It is, baffled by the attendance, especially when we don't have another match for a week and it's a Saturday. The problem is the club don't seem to promote the price deals enough. Maybe that's something we should feed back to the club. They should promote it more. They should promote these things more. A View from the Tower is a very small, percentage of Blackpool fans. A lot of Blackpool fans never even heard of A View from the Tower. Many Blackpool fans never heard of Lee Charles Steve either. Let's be honest. So. Yeah, I actually, to be honest, if I had to choose between the two of Ben Mansford and Julian Winter, I would choose Ben Mansford because I just really don't like Julian Winter. I just don't like him at all. I don't like, he set off on the bad foot, and I've never forgiven him for that price rise thing and, wanting fans to, look after his electric bill and all that sort of stuff. It's just rubbish. If you come into a club and you can't think of any other way to increase revenue other than charging the fans more, and especially charging the kids more, if that's the only brainwave that you have in a town like Blackpool, if you come in as CEO and you can't do things that bring money into the club in Blackpool, other than charge people more in a place where nobody's got any bloody money, one of the lowest paid towns in the country, you know what I mean? Just nonsense. Honestly, he just pissed me off so much, that guy, and I can't forgive him for it, to be honest. Thank you, Zach. Yes, yes. She was on a couple of videos last year. She did come on. She almost Josh Bowler coming back tempted her because we all know she loves Josh Bowler, but at the moment the football, if if Blackpool get on a crest of the wave, I'm sure she'll come back because it will bring joy. She's gone through this thing where she's just trying to bring, like, do joyful things all the time, things that make her feel good outside of work. And watching Blackpool is really not making her, was really getting her down. As it gets all of us down, it gets us down. But when you're already down, that extra added down, it's much better. We went to the zoo last weekend. We've got season passes for Sundays in the zoo. She wants to go and do the zoo, so bought them for her birthday, and we went, and it was great. Honestly, it was great. We saw a little baby elephant. We saw, the monkey, the sea lions, the gorillas, all of it. And it was just nice doing something together. I didn't bother filming. We just had a good time, and we go to the movies quite a lot. I like movies and stuff like that. So we're doing things that, all right, you pay for them, but you're going to be entertained. You're going to have a good time, and that's where we are at the moment. You looked up on Google today and you didn't know that Blackpool have won an FA Cup. Kieran, go stand in a corner and write out 1,000 times Blackpool won the Stanley Matthews Cup final. It's called the Matthews final because it was the only medal that Stanley Matthews, the nation's darling at the time, didn't have. So that's why it's called the Matthews final. He finally won an FA Cup winner's medal. However, the legend that was Stan Mortensen scored a hat-trick. So he scored a hat-trick to win the FA Cup, and he's the only man still ever to score a hat-trick in an FA Cup final, and he scored a hat-trick in the FA Cup final and had to live with the fact that it was always called the Matthews final, not the Mortensen final. And they both played for England at the time. So 1953 we came back against Bolton Wanderers, of course. So there's always those connections, isn't there, along the way? So we now got it was Bolton, it's just written in the stars maybe. But yes, the Stanley Matthews final, one of the greatest comebacks of all time finals. My God. How could you not know, Kieran? I don't know. I suppose they don't know. You won't know down in Ipswich, but it's one of the most famous FA Cup finals of all time. Michael Hayes' bowler's not played for over a year before he came back to play. Absolutely 100%. What do you expect? To be like a world beater straight off? He'll get better. Door on tour. Hello, I was just talking about Nottingham Forest. I hope you're all well. You're off to SK Graz tomorrow to watch Forest living the dream. Yes, you are. And I hope you're earning enough money with your YouTube channel to keep paying for all this. Because, my God, it must be costing you a bloody fortune unless you're getting sponsored now to do all this. But good luck to you, Door. Well done. I can only dream, Door, that we'd be there. Connor 1976 says, just imagine we beat Cardiff on Saturday. How good the club would feel. Yes, it would be unbelievable. It would be absolutely unbelievable, wouldn't it, if they did. I'm just going to have to blow my nose, sorry. Just running. Yeah, but it would be, it would be amazing, wouldn't it? It would be great. Everybody says you're learning. Well, they are. Hope you're now educated on the history of Blackpool Football Club. It's a massive thing. Connor said, I really thought we were going to get Bolton in the draw today. Thought it was written in the stars. Well, there's time yet. We might meet them in the final. That could be written in the stars, couldn't it? Could you imagine Blackpool Bolton final? That would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? Would it be as historic as it was then? Yeah. So that's it. I think, as I say, I'm just practicing with this OBS. Anybody who comes on, I have to delete the first 5 minutes when I sort out all the problem. I'm going to sort this chat out so it works right from the start. Yes, I think that means we're through, Callum, does it? We're through. We're through, yes. I think you mean we're through to the next round. We've got Carlisle. Do you think, or do you think we're going to be through against Carlisle? We're going to win that one as well. The Ian Evatt derby, indeed. Yes, it would be, wouldn't it? It would be. The Ian Evatt final. Cal Coyle says, well, don't underestimate them. Carlisle are shit. Can we beat Cardiff? Well, we've got to beat them first. At the moment, I can't say, Blackpool have been really good, have they? So we need to improve a lot before we start claiming that Blackpool are good and other teams are rubbish, because we've been pretty rubbish ourselves. Duncan Wood said Bill Perry scored the other goal in the 1953 Cup final, and he repaired hoovers at the corner shop in South Shore. Yes, and also Morty had a shop, didn't he? Morty had a shop on Lytham Road. My dad would tell me. Stan Mortensen said. Kieran Bain says, good catching up. Speak again. Now you're educated. You know all about it. Go and watch it. The 1953 Cup final. It's in black and white on YouTube. Just search the Matthews final and see how Blackpool came back to beat Bolton. Callum Cole says, can we beat Cardiff on Saturday? I reckon 2-2. I'd like to beat Cardiff on Saturday. Callum, I bet. Yeah, what was Morty's shop called? I don't know. Probably, I don't know, but he definitely had a shop on Lytham Road, Morty. Pretty sure he did. It may have been the Bill Perry shop. I'm pretty sure Morty had a shop. So, should we Google it? Did Stan Morty have a shop in Blackpool? It could be the Bill Perry shop that I'm getting confused with. Yes, the famous Blackpool and England footballer Stan Morton had multiple shops in Blackpool after he retired from professional football. He had a sports shop. Yeah, he had a sports shop on Bloomfield Road near the corner of Nelson Road. He had a postcard shop on the Blackpool seafront, also referred to as a photo shop. He also ran a betting shop on Lytham Road. There you are. So he had a few shops in Blackpool. Yes. I was pretty sure he did have a sports shop. Callum Coyle said, "Would you take points?" I want to win. I just want to win. I don't want to draw. I hate doing drawing videos. No good for my channel. I need a win. I've just searched it for you. Yes, I've just searched it for you, Connor. He's had 3 shops in Blackpool. He did have a sports shop on Lytham Road. I don't know what it's called though. Somebody may well know. Predictions for Saturday. I have to predict a win because I want to win so badly. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to Blackpool. 2-1 to Blackpool. I would settle for that on Saturday. I just need another win. I just need Blackpool to keep winning, and then I can make winning videos and have winning songs at the end of the videos. You know, which is all good fun. I don't know. I bring these things. A few did notice the song at the end of the video. But most don't even watch them, I don't think. Cardiff are bringing a big following. Yes, they should do. They're up near the top, so I imagine there'll be a lot from Cardiff. Would be nice not to be sat there watching them all celebrating, because I hate that more than anything else. I hate some team coming with a big, massive following and all singing at the end, and I'm doing my final summary with Pickle or whatever, and we're listening to them singing and doing the yeah, and all that sort of stuff right in our face. And it's even worse. It's even actually worse now in the South Stand than it was before, because you've got, they're actually coming around the corner now, aren't they? They're actually into the South Stand, so it's even worse to rub it into you if it's a big crowd. So it was bad enough with them just over there, but now they're kind of around the corner as well. It's not good. Connor says the song at the end was brilliant. Yes, I'm glad you noticed it, Connor. At least you did. At least you prove you watched it all the way through to the end. Most people haven't commented on it, so I imagine most people have turned off after I've said that I'm late. Do you know what I mean? I thought, should I put that in? Should I put that in at the start? Just because I was doing that thing with the with the ball kids, and it didn't finish till 3 o'clock. It went on and on. Honestly, I'm thinking, when's this going to finish, Steve? God's sake, have we not done them all? They had to do all these various tests because we're trying to find the best ball kid, and it was running late. And I'm driving from Lytham, and I'm just the traffic. I'm trying to get on Queensway and trying to get to the ground, and so I had to do a little intro on the way in. I didn't really have time to do an intro, but I thought I'd do a quick intro. I'll just explain, that, because I did, as I'm driving, I heard, obviously I'm listening to the radio, so I heard that Ash Leslie scored, so I said all that, and then obviously I did that intro, and then we won 1-0, didn't we? Anybody watching that video knows that Blackpool won 1-0. So when I come on the video at the start and say I'm running late and we're already 1-0 up, then there's no reason to watch the rest of the video, is there? That's it. Turn it off, innit? Because he's late, he's missed the goal. We're not going to see anything. Blackpool, only won 1-0, and I'm thinking, should I put that in at the start? Should I do something else? But then it was a nightmare. I got to the ground and I knocked on this little door, one of the big doors, because all the kiosks were shut. Obviously, there's no late kiosk anywhere. So I knocked on the door. This guy opens it. This young Asian lad opens it, and I said, "Look, can I get in? I've got my ticket. I'm late. I'm running late." And this older, supervisor Asian guy came over. No, you can't come in here. He said it's got to go through the machine. So I said, "Well, can you not just chuck it? Can you just put it in?" So he leant over, put it in. Not working. You need to go back to the ticket office. I'm like, oh God. So it's just an absolute nightmare trying to get in. I'm like, you can see it's a ticket, you know what I mean? It's got my name on it, it's got 15 quid, it's got it's clearly a ticket. They wouldn't let me in anyway, so nightmare. So yes, it is hard when they're singing in your face. It is, when they're all celebrating. I've said that before quite often. It's, at the end of the season, it's a very beautiful sunny day, and the away team, whoever they are, and normally, for some unknown reason, we're playing somebody who's got something left to play for. They've all come in their fancy dress. They're all in Blackpool. The sun's out. They're having a great time. Even if they do sing Blackpool's a shithole, it doesn't matter. They're having a great time. And then they win, and you see them all celebrating and singing and all the rest of it right in front of you. And it's just, you think, oh, I just hate it. The sun's out. They just ruin your weekend, the whole thing. And they're all having a good time, and I hate it. Yes, the new stewards. You see, now that's one good thing about the South Stand. They have the guys that are on the gates. I know them all. They've been doing it for years. They're all Blackpool guys. They all know me. I have a bit of banter with them, they want to be on, they want to do score predictions, and they're just nice and friendly and just lovely. And then you just get those other sort of stewards that are from like a contract company or something. They're from Manchester or wherever they're from. They don't know anything about Blackpool. They're as miserable as sin. They're not the same as Blackpool people, I like to have a bit of band, stewards have always just been from all my life, in the old stadium, whenever, throughout the whole time I've been going to football. The stewards have always been employed by the club, and they've always been employed. They're just like local people. And then I know a few of the companies that ran the security for the nightclubs, but they were run by Steve Sinclair, and they were Blackpool people. All the people that worked for him were Blackpool people. All the bouncers were Blackpool people. So he used to get like bouncers, but they were Blackpool people, And there's something about Blackpool people that's really nice and friendly, and there's nothing friendly about. I can imagine. I can imagine they are shocking, and you can't have fun with them or talk about the match or have a bit of banter. It's not the same. It's just not the same. I'm sorry, it's not the same, and it may work out cheaper for the club, but honestly, for me, it just pisses people right off. And sometimes I think to myself, they worry about, why they're losing fans apart from the football. Why? What can we do? I think they went over to the Armfield club to ask the question, what can we do to get fans back? Well, I can tell you now, your stewards are like the front facing part of your club, and if they're miserable and they're not Blackpool people and they're not Blackpool fans, and then that just alienates people. It alienates people. Does. You want friendly, nice stewards you can have a bit of a laugh with. And there are those scattered around. There still are. But I eventually reckon there won't be any of them because they'll all be replaced in the great replacement scheme that we have going on in this country. And I'm telling you, they're just not, are they? It's like everything. You go to a corner shop, used to go to like a little newsagents, and he was just, I used to go to the newsagents on Highfield Road. He was a Blackpool fan. I used to go in, get a paper, chat with him about, every time I went, I chatted with him about the football. We'd have like long conversations in the newsagents on Highfield Road, near Fisher's Field, the one. He sold up. It's not anymore. Blackpool people, and well, there's no point in even trying to have a conversation other than like, have you got any like midget gems or whatever? Well, that's about as far as it goes. You know what I mean? Can I have a lottery ticket? Apart from that, there's no conversation. There's nothing. It's just honestly, yeah, miserable. They are. We do need to be on them straight away. I've no idea, Carl. I couldn't tell you. Somebody else tell him if Liverpool can beat Madrid at the moment. I wouldn't know. I don't watch any of it. Connor says, yes, I remember in the championship season, they were all lovely. Yeah. And now they've all been replaced with what you would call not lovely, would you? Not lovely, not friendly, not nice, nothing. No, and I'm not surprised people stop going. It's like I used to say, like, they'd do like for some unknown reason, a few times they did like a proper full body search on people going in to the South Stand, and it was just, for a lot of people that's like, they don't like that. It doesn't bother me, to be honest. I couldn't care less. They can do a body search. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. But for some people, it's, they don't like that. They don't like being felt by some stranger. And like the South Stand, there's never any trouble in the South Stand. Have you ever seen really any trouble in the South? Particularly, not much. I think there was that one time when that Fleetwood fan ran across and was being an absolute dick. And he deserved what he got, really, to be honest, because he was just being an absolute arsehole. And but apart from that, really, you never see any trouble in the South. You might see it more now with away fans in, maybe, but yeah. So that put a lot of people off, and they were confiscating drinks off kids. They come with confiscating him. Yeah, dads will never take the kids back. So all that was bad, and I did mention it, and they don't seem to do that anymore. And it's got back to nice stewards who are just, sometimes they might want to look in your bag, to make sure you haven't got, a bomb. Make sure you haven't got bomb. Make sure you haven't got something in your bag that you might be bringing in. I don't know really what you might be bringing in, but yeah. So yeah, the stewarding for me is like really, really important, and like, Blackpool is still very much, local people. Well, not local people. I mean, people from all over, but kind of what I'm saying out without saying the word. But yeah, it's just not as friendly, is it? It's not as friendly, and that will put people off going. It will. Whether you're saving money on your stewarding costs, you're losing on your income because people will not tolerate it. I was talking to a fan whose daughter had been shouted at. She was about 5 years old or something. They'd made her cry. just mad Blackpool fan. That I was talking to him in Morrison's. Saw me, dug me out, said it's terrible. He had pictures on his phone, this steward going at them all and having a big shouting match. And it was nothing. They were only still at the front. But yeah, none of that is good. It's not, personally, I would stop that. I would just get rid of all that lot and I would just bring in. I would just do it like he always did. We've had stewards at Blackpool for donkey's years, haven't we? For absolute donkey's years. And they've all just been employed locally, and local people and local Blackpool people are a lot friendlier. Trust me, a lot friendlier. Yeah. Well, a lad beside me says is, imagine you're walking into your house and the first person you see is a lad with a big frown on his face and won't even say hello to you. Great first impression. Yeah, it's kind of if you turned up at a party and the greeting at the door was similar to the greeting you get at Bloomfield Road. Not in the south, by the way. If you come to the south, I'll say now the stewards in the south are different. But they'll probably all be phased out as well, and I won't have the same banter with them. But yeah, it's that first impressions, it's that welcoming thing, and then the club wonder why people aren't going. You know what I mean? And it's just another thing to annoy you and to rankle with you and to it's just not good business policy. I don't think so anyway. Who am I? They may be saving millions by employing this lot, but I don't think I don't think it's the right kind of people for a Blackpool crowd. I just don't think it is. I think it just winds people the wrong way and makes people think, I don't want to go anymore. I don't want to be treated like this when I go to a football match. It's not a pleasant thing that's going on, and I don't want to go. The football shit, so I won't go. Yeah. He didn't get knocked out, but yeah. But he was being an idiot. Darcy says, I wonder who picks these stewards and do they have to take a miserable exam to get the job? I don't. Yes, they're not part of the charm school, are they? They're not charming, but that's not. They're not. They're just not like Blackpool people. Let's put it that way. Local Blackpool people. Blackpool, is a very friendly town, and it has a reputation of being a very friendly town. And, people from London who come to Blackpool are often quite amazed at how friendly Blackpool people are. People in Yorkshire are very friendly. People in Newcastle are very friendly. And yet, the people that are being employed as stewards, on the whole, you can't, it's just not the same. There can be. I'm not saying they're all bad, and some of them are friendly, and that's good, and they should be made, even if it's not their natural disposition to be friendly, they should be made to be friendly. And they should be made to go that extra mile. It's like the steward that stopped me going in with a ticket. I was late. I was late. That steward didn't go that sort of extra sort of friendly mile to make sure that, maybe even just to walk me around to my seat and check it, there was nobody, I hadn't been in twice or something. I don't know, whatever it is. I know they all have a job to do, but there's a way. Normally when I talk to people, I get along with people. I'm that kind of friendly, kind of, have a bit of a laugh with people most of the time, and I'm not aggressive or anything else. And the way I was treated was, I just felt like, what a tosser you are, mate. And absolutely, honestly, that's how I felt. I felt like kicking off proper. I didn't kick off. I just thought, right, okay, fucking hell, here we go. I got to walk all the way back to the bloody ticket office to sort this out, and whatever. Just piss off, basically. And that's how I felt in my head. I'm thinking, what fucking wanker this guy is. And it's just not good, is it? It's not. good. It's like having to put up with something that just is not right. It's not right. And if the club if they're asking fans, for advice on how do we get people back to watch Blackpool, well, that's a big thing. I'm telling you, it's a big thing. A big, big thing. And if Simon Sadler, if you're watching this, his message get across to you, just don't. Just get like we've done at Blackpool. You've been a Blackpool fan all your life, apparently since a kid. You know what Blackpool stewards are like. They've employed Blackpool people. God's sake, there's enough people without jobs in the town. Do you know what I mean? Give them a job. God's sake, help the town. Why bring in an out-of-town bunch of bloody wankers off of them? So, yeah. Ian R., I'm sorry I'm late to the party. You're going to head off. See you later. I'm going to... I'm going soon. Thank you very much. I've had my. It's if you've lasted this long, I've had my little rant about just another thing that I would change. To be honest, I don't think it's going in the right direction with the stewarding, and but I'm very happy. We've got Carlisle. I'm very happy. We're in the second round. Oh, he said you okay. Well, that means Callum. He said you're okay. Oh. I don't know. Thomas Poison. Hello, Thomas. Evenly, easy fixture. Looking forward to Saturday. Yes, Ian says, glad you got that off your chest. Yes, indeed. I needed to get off my chest. It was just, it was bugging me. It was really, it really bugged me on Saturday, and I just... Yeah, I don't need to go to work. I'm going. I've done enough. We've been on quite a while. As I say, I'm just kind of testing these things out, and of course, I'm always easy. I can always rant if I want to rant, but I just think it's not a good thing. It's not an improvement to the club. Right. See you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm going to try and do more of these live streams when news comes out. I mean, obviously I would have probably done the live draw today, but I didn't know what TNT was. But apparently now I found out it was on YouTube. I could have watched it on YouTube. Yeah, I'm with you on the rant. It's not hard to open a door and let you in. I mean, that's normally that's what would have happened. But I don't know the rules. There's probably listen. It's probably health and safety or something. It's probably health and safety that because you haven't come through a turnstile or because they haven't registered you in on a turnstile that, if there's a head count, there's a fire and you could be under a seat somewhere and they don't know you're in the ground because you didn't go in with your ticket. I don't know. There's probably some ridiculous reason, but certain people you can just reason with. You can reason with them. It's not hard. You know what I mean? You can see quite clearly that, my ticket's there. It's, they're made in a certain way, aren't they? You know what a ticket looks like, and it's got the match on, and it's got my seat number on it. It's got my name on it. It's got adult on it. It's got £15 on it. It's got all the things it needs to show that it's my ticket to get in. And, even if it's not working the machine, it's still a ticket, you know what I mean? But I've got, but no, and I'm late, I'm late to the ground, and I'm late, I'm already missed. I don't want to go back round to the ticket office because I've missed most of the first half. Anyway, I'm trying to get in, and it's just sometimes I just think, God, I don't know. It's like a Jobsworth manager, isn't it? It's just a Jobsworth. Who are you talking about Alec, your dad Alec Coyle? I don't, if that's to me, Callum, I don't think I know Alec Coyle. I actually work for a tennis company now. I work as a videographer. After doing all this, I've become a videographer in real life. So I now make videos for a tennis company. And if you'd have clicked on the link on Saturday, you'd have seen the video that I made, which was up in the top corner there on the video. Anyway, I'm going. Thanks a lot for don't say. I know. I'm I'm all right about it, but it's gone now. But my blood pressure was pretty bad on Saturday. I tell you, I was fuming about it all. I was really, really, really annoyed. No, I didn't see you. How would I see you in the North Stand? I didn't see you. I was too busy watching the game. Anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next one when I'm here. I'll try and give a bit more advance notice next time as well, by the way, so you can all be ready for the show. Then you don't miss it. Bye. Bye, Duncan. Yes, you could say that. You kind of can read between the lines on what I'm saying, but even so, even if they were not that certain demographic, but they were from, say, Manchester or Liverpool, and they were coming to steward the match, they're not Blackpool people. They don't know anything about Blackpool. Over the years, you've stood with stewards and they've just been Blackpool people, and I've talked to them, and we had quite a few friends that were stewards and all the rest of it, and it's just lovely family sort of thing. That is what Blackpool is, and these people are not the Blackpool family. All I'm saying. Yeah, let's go and beat Cardiff. Thanks a lot, Duncan. See you all later.